All right, gang, welcome back to our Can You Survive 25 challenge here in Zielonka. I feel invigorated with this series, and so we're doing another one here pretty quickly. And a couple notes. I decided to purchase a trailer. We had put stuff on auto-selling towards the end of the last episode. I changed my mind on that, so everything for the pickle production and then the trees, they're not going to be on auto-selling. I went ahead and told them to spawn. I guess we'll see what happens with that, and we're just going to go and sell them outright that way. I think we will get a little bit more money that way as well, instead of just putting them on auto-selling. Maybe later on in the series when money is not as much of an issue, after this reboot or retool, whatever you want to call it, maybe then we, we can put them on auto-selling at that point, right? Maybe it won't make that big of a difference then, but nonetheless, we have purchased this trailer. Now, this is a very nice trailer, honestly. We've got it set up to kind of match our John Deere setup here. It's Lizard HL. We utilized, not this exact one, but a similar one in the Vintage Survival series that just recently concluded. So this will do the trick for the time being, right? We've got a front loader. We might as well utilize that front loader, right? Kind of seems pointless to not do that. So we will be stacking these up here on this, and we'll go sell those today because we really need to sell them today. I mean, honestly, you probably would want to wait until it's the best time to sell them, but we need the money, right? We need the money, so we're going to go sell them today. Now, what else are we going to do today? Well, we're going to do some contracts today. There's not going to be a whole lot else for us to do today, unfortunately, besides contract perspective. We don't have a ton of money, and we don't have a ton to do specifically on our main farm here. We need to start getting some money saved up so we can buy a harvester for those sunflowers, right? That is a key thing for us to do and accomplish, so that's something we're going to be kind of focusing on. Now, I see a bunch of things spawned for the pickles, for the pickled tomatoes. I don't see anything for the trees, though. I would have thought there would have been. Maybe there isn't. No, there's 22,000 liters of wood in there. So why is there nothing spawning? Is it something to do with this? Did I put this too close, maybe? Perhaps I did. I thought this was the spawn point, though. It is the spawn point, so... I don't know, that's weird. I guess, I mean, maybe somebody in the comments will know. Maybe somebody in the comments has used this before. But I would have thought something would have spawned here. Let me make sure there's nothing I don't need to turn off here or take these up or anything, pick these up or anything. No. Well, I guess for those, I guess I am going to have to put those back on selling, but wood chips we can store, that's fine. We actually could turn that bale trailer, I think, into a regular trailer so we can get the wood chips out later on, but I'll just put them on auto-selling, so when 9 o'clock hits, we should, in theory, make a lot of money off that, right? Alright, so we're going to flip this around here. I didn't really go at this the proper way here. I was really wanting to load up the trees first, personally, but since, that's not really an option, I guess, for right now, until I figure out what's going on with that, then it's not really set up properly for the pickled tomatoes here. So, anyway, how's everyone doing today? I hope you're all doing well. Things are good here, man. We've got a lot of new stuff going on the channel right now. You could argue this is a new series, but really it's not. It's just a retool or reboot of a series that was going on before. And 9 times out of 10, this is going to be a once-a-week, if we even do once-a-week series, right? It's not going to be something that is on a traditional setup, but for now, we are going to do a couple of them. I do have a new series coming out here very, very soon. I think you're really going to enjoy it. It is a survival challenge series. I think initially my plan was to not do a survival challenge series. I changed my mind, so a bit of a spoiler there, but not really. So that'll be coming out here probably tomorrow, actually. It'll probably be tomorrow's episode. If it's not tomorrow's episode, it'll be the following one, more than likely. But yeah, it's I think you're going to really enjoy it. I think you're going to really like it. Okay, can we please get these on the forks the proper way? Thank you. Thank you. Now, this should produce a decent amount of money for us, but it's not going to be anything crazy. Let's be fully transparent here. These are not worth a ton of money. I said tomatoes. I meant peppers. I'm sorry. They're not worth tons and tons of money, but it will do the trick. It'll do the job. It'll produce some money for us, give us a little bit more money in our bank account, which will feel a little bit better when the time comes that we have to harvest those sunflowers, right? That's going to be here before we know it, and we've got to get ourselves some money together here so we can be prepared for that. For the most part, at least for the people who have been able to watch it at the time that I'm recording this, it has been a positive reception to bring this back, so I'm happy about that. It's definitely something I needed to, at least speak to and answer, considering we said we were going to be back, and then it just took 7 months off or whatever it was. It was a long time. A lot longer than it should have been. Alright. So that's loaded up, so we can go sell these now. How's everyone doing? I hope you're doing well. Where are we taking these things? Pickled chili peppers. The supermarket. Which is where? Okay. I think we've been here before. At some point, probably in the FS22, honestly, versus FS25. But we might have gone there in the initial episodes, too. I don't remember. But we're going to head there now. All right, that wasn't bad there, gang. We got us up to 10,172, so we will take it. I feel a little bit better about our overall dollar amount as well. Having that $10,000 back in the bank account, that looks a lot better than it did, for sure. This isn't the flattest of land in the world. It's relatively flat where we have most of our productions at, but I think if we decide to put any other productions down, we are going to probably be struggling a little bit. As you can see, there's clearly a slope here from here down, right, heading down this way. It's flat-ish down in this area, but the rest of the land there, maybe on the other side of the lake, maybe there's a similar situation, I don't know, but there's definitely a slope down, so something we'll have to deal with. But anyway, that's really the main things that we had to accomplish today. Now, we can go potentially buy some more fertilizer, etc., but I think most things are still going to be okay for today. Maybe the wood could utilize a little more, but it doesn't use that much anyway, so it's probably going to be there for a while. The greenhouses are likely going to need something in the next episode at a bare minimum, but otherwise, things are looking relatively good. The water is trying to keep up with everything it has to pump into. Now, most of it's really going into the wood, the production, the greenhouse wood production, mostly because it holds so much water, right, and the other ones don't, so it's kind of just evenly distributed. So eventually it'll catch up with everything, I think, but we're doing okay, relatively speaking. So let's see what's out there from a contract perspective. I'm sure there's quite a few things. Now, realistically, we don't really have the money to buy our own stuff and make money that way. Now, granted, there's 3 fertilizing contracts out here, which would be really nice to have. There's a couple spraying contracts as well, so if we had, one or of those, that would certainly help. But the problem is, with $10,000, we really don't have a whole lot of money to play with, so that means we really aren't going to be able to pick a whole lot that's going to work for us. I could go this approach, which is, something we utilize in the Vintage Survival series, but I do want to try to change it up a little bit. I don't want to utilize the same thing over and over again. Sometimes you have to, certainly. But I don't. If I can, I'd prefer to change things up a bit. It's not always going to be the case, but that's just my preference. So yeah, I think we're just going to have to lease something here. Now, what's that mean? Well, it is going to mean that we're going to have to buy, fertilizer if we're going to do one of those. So more than likely, I think what I'm going to do, based off of everything we just talked about, is I'm going to maybe not do fertilizing and spraying, so that way I don't have to buy anything. Maybe we do a harvesting contract, right? These aren't worth a ton of money, but they're peas, so peas could be, quite a nice payday. I don't know what peas are worth right now. Probably not much if they're harvesting them right now, but let's see. Yeah, they're not terrible, but not really that great either, right? So the odds are, even though those are going to be nice, you're not probably going to make a ton of money off of it, right? So there's some deadwood contracts. We could potentially do a bale wrapping contract, which would be nice and pretty easy. That would be about $2,000 to do that one. That's not even worth our time. Yeah, so it's either the harvesting contracts here, or we're going to do the bale wrapping, or both. Maybe we do both. I'm kind of leaning towards doing the peas, even though it's not going to make us a ton of extra money. We can do 3 contracts. They're all pea contracts anyway, so we can do all 3 of them. They're not huge fields, really. I guess that one's the biggest one, right? Let's do the pea contracts. Let's do one. I don't know which one of these I should be picking here, with tractor-wise. I guess we'll go with this one. Borrow items. All right. Let's jump up to the shop here. All right, so I think... I guess it doesn't really matter which one we do first, does it? It'd probably be beneficial for us to go down and do field 90 there on the map first. So that way we're not going back and forth. We're just kind of going down and then back up, and we don't have to come back across again, if that makes sense, right? If I was to go to 60, then I have to go to 5 and then come all the way back down to 90. Guess it doesn't really matter. I guess it's the same either way, really, whichever way you look at it. Guess I should put the beacons on. Yeah, I guess we'll go down here. Now, I do know this takes a long time to do these. It's not a fast process by any means, but that's okay, right? We didn't have a ton to do today anyway. This is going to produce a little bit of extra income for us, which is going to help us with being able to, pay for that liquid fertilizer that we need, at least for a bare minimum, the greenhouses, right? Yeah, let's get to work. Let's get this done. It's going to take a while, gang. It'll probably be a long time lapse, but let's get them done, and hopefully we make some decent extra money from the peas as well. All right, well, we got one field done. It has taken a lot longer than I expected to get that one field done. We've got the workers started here on this one, which is the largest field by far. So we've still got a ways to go for sure. I think what I'm going to do, even though it probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense, I think I'm going to get rid of Farmland 5 contract, I think, just based on just simply put time alone. Contract 5 is which one? Okay, it's up there. I know where that is. Okay, so it is, get my bearings here, this field here. It's not the largest field in the world, but it still would take us probably 5 minutes, plus another 5 to get up here. Yeah, I think I'm going to cancel that one. We'll just try to finish Farmland 60 here. Okay, and we'll finish this guy here. I'm going to go ahead and take over for the worker here because they're doing the crazy weird stuff they do down here, even though there's not really a reason to do it. There's plenty of room to turn around here, so it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to be doing that. Let's just get going here, worker. We don't need to be doing that. So very, very long time lapse. I sped it up for sure. I know I did in the edit. I'm going to speed it up probably to 8 times, I would think. So it's probably 3 or 4 minute, time lapse, which is a long time lapse, but we need to get a lot done, and we did, right? We accomplished a lot there. So we've already got part of field 60 here delivered instead of actually making the money for what was remaining there in the peas for the last field. It just started depositing it here for field 60. Luckily, it picked field 60. Luckily, it knew that the worker was working on this field, and it didn't pick that small field, right? That would have been a disaster, but all it basically means is that whenever the time comes for us to sell the remainder of this, we are going to have more from this field that we can sell and make money off of versus the other way around. Now, the other thing to note here, gang, is we obviously jumped up a significant amount of money. When 9 o'clock hit, the wood sold, and that was a significant amount of money we just made off that wood. So maybe a little OP there on that wood greenhouse. I don't know, but nonetheless, it is some good money and money we desperately need. Now, when we were down there in that field doing that harvest, the first contract harvest, there was I'm sure you saw it, there was a little house and a little tiny yard there. That's, I honestly, ideally, that's the yard that I want to purchase, as long as it can be purchased, which I think it can, for our second farm. Yeah, I think it comes with Field 90. It does. So whenever the time, oh my gosh, Field 90 is $803,000. Are you serious? Holy shit. Why is it so expensive? Because of these trees, I guess? Wow. Okay, maybe not. I was going to say I kind of want to buy this because it's a nice small area. I don't think we'll need any bigger than that for, the canola oil processing we're going to be doing. Wow. Okay. Holy shit. Well, I mean, eventually we'll probably get there, right? I mean, this is it's going to be, it already has, but we took a, extended hiatus, but it's a long series, right? So, but that's going to take an eternity to get to that kind of money. We're not going to be anywhere near that kind of money for at least 2-3 years in game, probably, if not more. Probably more. Maybe not. Maybe scratch that idea, although I just kind of told you about it, but yeah, that's not exactly what I was hoping for. I did not realize that came with such a massive amount of land there. Once we get back on a long path here again, I'm going to look at that again. I'm going to actually put the drone up and go fly over that and take a look at that, just from a perspective of seeing exactly why it's that much money. There must be a bunch of trees or something on it. There has to be. I mean, it has all the stuff there where the house is, which I get, right? It's got a silo and stuff. That silo is probably expensive. That's probably part of it. All right. Well, that's going. Let me see if I can, because that's going to take a while. So I'm going to go all the way back down here. Let's see if I can figure out where I'm at here. Here we go. So, I mean, it doesn't have a ton of trees, but there's a decent chunk of land over here on the other side of the creek, and that's what it is. I guess you could turn this into another field if you get rid of all these trees, right? Yeah. And I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. No, it's only 56,000. Okay, maybe not. But technically, you could sell all this stuff once you buy it, right? And you could, you know, reset it up your own way if you wanted to. I'm not sure I would sell the house, but I definitely would sell this and this. I probably would keep that because that is one of the goals for each farm. You have to have a silo and 2 barns, right? We talked about that in the last episode. Just kind of refreshed the rules here on the series. So even our first farm right now is not technically done, even though we've got everything we need for that to be a successful first farm. You know, we've got the greenhouses down, we've got the production, etc. We don't have a second shed, we have one, and we don't have a silo on there. Now, granted, we're not really going to utilize the silo, right? We're not, and we're very rarely are we going to use the shed probably too, right? So but anyway, the other thing to note is, you know, I'm not allowed to utilize any of that stuff that we currently have on our current farm for the second farm, except for the drill, because I bought the drill for the second farm. I didn't buy it for the first farm. But the tractor that we've been utilizing, right, the trailer, all that stuff, the water tank, that none of that can be utilized on the second farm. That's kind of the rules are. The rules are supposed to be 3 separate farms that you can't really utilize the same equipment for. So, you know, whenever we buy a harvester for that, like, it's just only for that farm. And whenever we buy a tractor for it, it's literally only just for that farm. So, I guess what I'm trying to get at is when the time comes to harvest those sunflowers, which is going to be here before you know it, we're not going to have a tractor or a trailer or anything to unload them. So we're going to have to probably just drive the harvester directly to a sell point and sell them until we're able to get those items for that farm, right? And maybe we will have enough by the time that, you know, the harvesting day comes around. We very well might, you know, with that wood greenhouse and then just selling the chilies and everything, right? Maybe we will, because we've got 29,000 right now, so maybe we will have enough to be able to buy one then. But at least at current state, we don't have one, right? So it's a factor. It's something we got to think about. So when this game was first released and we found out that Zielonka was the third map, I actually was not that fond of Zielonka. When I played it in FS22, I didn't really love it. I think they did some decent updates to it for this one. It's still by far not my favorite map, but the reason why we picked it originally is because I wanted to try to figure out a way to make it better. I wanted to figure out a way to actually start enjoying this map. I am enjoying it a little bit more this time around. But it's still, I don't think it's their strongest map that they've ever made. Let's put it that way. I think there would have been better choices, I guess is how I'll put it, than choosing this one for the third map here in this game. But maybe they did that because they wanted to, you know, fix it and make it better. But yeah, I don't know. I still think if I was going to pick another map that was already in a Farming Simulator game, I would have picked a different one than this. And mostly the reason why we picked this one is because when we were starting out on this game in FS25, about a year ago, today really, we had series already running on the other two, on Riverbend and on Hunten Pantai, or whatever the heck it's called. We already had you know, series on that map, so I needed to do something on this one, and it was just the logical choice at that point. I think in hindsight, if I had the ability, I probably would have picked one of the other two maps over this one for doing this series. But it's not that I don't dislike doing the series right now on this one. I'm enjoying it. Obviously, we're doing it now, right? But at the time, I had, which I was very happy with. I don't think it was as successful. I don't think everyone enjoyed it as much as I did. But we had the series we were running, which was one of the ones on an idea on my backlog, which was to create, you know, a farm maze, right? Which I really enjoyed doing that. And then we had the Triple Threat Challenge, which, admittedly, that never finished either. And the reason why that never, well, it technically finished, but the actual bonus objective of doing the temple, it never finished. It was just painful. We were trying to do it for forever. It took a long ass time. We never actually got it done. And it just took too long. There was no reason for me to continue the series when, in essence, I'm literally just going to be doing the same thing over and over and over again, trying to get enough resources delivered to the temple, right? So in hindsight, you know, that I would do that a different way as well. The triple threat challenge we started, that will be coming back soon enough as well. I'm going to make some modifications to it. I've learned a couple of things. I know a lot of people actually enjoyed that series and the idea of that series, so we will be making that better. There will be a second version of the triple threat challenge, I assure you. I'm not sure when, but that will be coming out at some point in the near future. And I say near future, it's a ways out, but probably somewhere in 2026. Mid-2026, maybe. We'll see. We've got a lot of series running right now, right? For a while there we didn't. Now we do. We've got 2 kind of one-off series that are running whenever time permits or whenever I feel like doing them. This one specifically, right? This Zielonka Can Use Survive 25 series we just booted back up. And then the Mountain Survival, which is a mini-series. It's not going to last very long. But those are 2 series where it's just, there's not a set schedule, or it's not every other day or anything like that. It's just whenever I have the time, we'll throw one up. Now, the new series that's coming out tomorrow, I talked about, the Vanilla Survival Challenge. That will be your typical schedule, which is every other day. And then, obviously, we still have our Skyfen Aqua Farm series, which I'm very happy with. That is the other every other day series, right? The only ones that are specifically set on a specific day for the time being is the competitive one-tile challenge, which is on Saturdays. And then I've got Simulation Sundays, which I'm considering potentially changing that. It's not doing as great as I had hoped. The Lightyear Frontier seems to be doing well because it is, in essence, around a farming type of game. But some of the other ones, they've done okay, but they haven't done great either. So we'll see. You know, maybe it was just kind of a test run to see how things are going with that, and it's going okay. It's just not going as well as I thought. And you know, I was talking actually with Crustu and Rusty Money, who are doing the competitive one-tile challenge with me, and you know, I think it's really in regard to YouTube's algorithm, right? If I change up what I'm normally doing, it kind of doesn't know what to do, so it doesn't really push those out, which I get. But you know, it's just trying something different to see how it would, you know, go and how reactions would happen. And some people don't like it, some people do, right? So we will see. For the time being, it's still going to be Simulation Sunday, but I'm probably going to have to rethink it as we move along here, depending on how it continues to do. We'll do at least 1 or 2 more episodes of Lightyear Frontier, I think, and then maybe make a decision at that point what we're going to do. We still got a ways to go here. I'm going to flip a Yui here. This is going to be easier than trying to drive the harvester up here. Okay, so we've got $29,000. What are we going to do with that $29,000? Well, probably not really much. I kind of already told you what my goal is, right? My goal is to start planning on getting stuff for the second farm, because that you know, harvesting that's going to be here before you know it. If we look at the growth stage here, if it is not going to tell me the growth stage, there we go. It's still an early on growth stage, as you can see, but you know, it's going to be ready soon enough, right? I mean, the sunflowers are 2-3 months from now, 3 months from now, probably. It might be 4 months. It might be in November. But either way, like, we don't have a ton of months is what I'm trying to get at, right? We don't have a ton of months to buy a harvester, which is, you know, there's some options out there, I guess, but probably no matter which way you cut it, you're looking at at least 50,000-60,000 at least. And if we don't have to want to drive the harvester directly to the sell point every time, we really need to figure out some kind of a trailer and a tractor. Now, could go the cheap route, like the one we just got that we turned into like a bale trailer to put our pallets on. We could go that approach. Maybe that's the way we have to go at the beginning and then upgrade later on. But the tractor itself, I mean, you're looking at still, unless you get a super old and cheap one, you're still looking at a bare minimum of $25,000-$30,000, right? So you factor everything in, plus the header, which I didn't even bring up, the header for the harvester. I mean, you're looking close to $100,000 probably. So we really got to save. We made a little bit more money. We're going to be making a little bit of money every hour now moving on. It won't be such a large jump. The only reason it was such a large jump is because we went, rested to July, and there was all that wood that was in storage, and then we turned it on to selling. So now that we have it on selling, it's going to be a smaller increase every hour. Still probably be a total amount that we got overnight, but and that will be there at the beginning of the next episode. But when we're actually working throughout the day, we're doing the video or whatever, it's going to be just a small increase every hour. Not much left to do here, gang. Let's get the rest of this done. I've yambled on for another 15 minutes. I've yambled on for a long time. Let's get it done. All right, that didn't take too much longer. Let's see how much money we get here, gang, out of the remainder here of the peas, whatever they give us as a bonus. Hopefully we can get to $35,000. I feel pretty happy if we get to that point. All right, moment of truth. Here we go. Let's see what we get. Actually, it's going to take all of it, isn't it? %, transported for field 60. But it tells me I'm only 89% through. What? Oh, we're not done yet. Oh my gosh, what am I thinking? I thought we were done. We're not done. We still have some left to do here. What am I thinking? I literally just completely glossed over the fact that I backed up to unload, and there was still a whole other row to do. Oh my gosh, I'm dumb. Well, that's embarrassing. Wouldn't be a Z video if I don't have a screw up every once in a blue moon, though, right? It happens. All right, we're gonna put this on a worker. I'm gonna bring the trailer back here. I'll be back with you in just a second. All right, here we go, gang. It's a little bit less than what we could have had because I kind of screwed that up, so it wouldn't let me finish harvesting the rest of the field there. There's a tiny bit. It's just a little sliver. Wasn't a ton more, but we probably would have got another 1,000, I think, out of it. But anyway, it sucks, but it is too late now. I made a mistake. I screwed up. It happens, man. Things happen. This hopefully will get us to $35,000, hopefully. Oh, just short, dang. That extra 1,000 probably would have did it. But that's okay, we're going to turn this in. This will get us over 35,000 anyway. Perfect. We are at 36,337 buckaroonies. We're going to leave the episode at that point. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you have yet to do so, smash that like, subscribe button for me. It helps me out an absolute ton. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments, ideas, let me know down below. Yell at me about making that mistake. I know it's going to happen. There's a link down below if you want to join the Discord, if you want to check out my other channel. Thank you to my members. Cannot thank you guys enough. There's also a link for that if you're interested in becoming a member. Early access to videos like this one, including the competitive one-tile challenge. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for your support. I'll see you next time.